Coopper vs. Pate, 1964. Presentation by Libby and Anna Tinsley. Inmate Thomas Coopper was a black man who identified as a Muslim, but was denied access to religious materials while incarcerated. The Christian inmates around Coopper received copies of the Holy Bible, but he was not able to access the Quran for his own religious practices. He was also unable to consult ministers of his faith and was denied access to Arabic and Swahili grammar books, even though he only wanted them to learn how to read Islamic texts in the original writings. Thomas Coopper's case was originally dismissed by the prison and the 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals before the Supreme Court received his case. The 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals reasoning for denial was the claim that prisoners automatically give up many constitutional rights and privileges when they go to prison, so his right to religion had already been given up because he had committed a crime. Illinois inmate Thomas Coopper was denied access to the Quran and other religious materials, which impeded his constitutional rights, especially his First Amendment right, the freedom of religion. The biggest focal point for Thomas Coopper's case is the First Amendment that allows for the freedom of religion. Since inmates around Coopper were receiving their own religious materials, this made for a bigger scandal than what was already at hand. Coopper filed violations under the 14th, 8th, 4th, and of course the First Amendments. Though Coopper's case was denied by the 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court had a different opinion. It was decided that the Bill of Rights do apply to inmates, and Coopper should have never been denied access to any religious practices.
The court's discussion. Via a per curiam decision, the Supreme Court of the United States, under the Warren Court, with Chief Justice Earl Warren, issued the following decision for the Coopper v. Pate 1964 case. Taking as true the allegations of the complaint, as they must be on a motion to dismiss, the complaint stated a cause of action and it was error to dismiss it. Scottus changed earlier opinions and stated that the 14th Amendment, as well as other basic rights listed in the Bill of Rights, does apply to incarcerated peoples. Shown in the image is the Warren Court from 1962 to 1967 under Chief Justice Earl Warren, which voted on the Coopper v. Pate 1964 case. This is the court which handed down a per curiam decision, with no singular judge as an author, but instead was the opinion of the court as a single body. This is important to note because most cases and decisions are signed by an individual judge. Legal issues impacting the case. The 1872 Ruffin v. Commonwealth decision helped build the foundation of this case. In the 1872 case, the Virginia Supreme Court voted on the Equal Protection Clause under the 14th Amendment not pertaining to those incarcerated. In the decision, they said, prisoners are the slaves of the state undergoing punishment for heinous crimes committed against the laws of the land. As well as the 14th Amendment, Coopper also filed his lawsuit under violations of the following amendments, saying the prison had willingly decided to violate them. The 8th for cruel and unusual punishment, the 4th for unreasonable search and seizure, and the 1st for freedom of religion. Future impacts. Coopper v. Pate 1964 changed the previous decision and mindset of the Bill of Rights and the 14th Amendment only applying to free citizens, now saying it applied even to those incarcerated. This landmark case was cited in 1972 during Cruz v. Beto, when a Buddhist inmate filed a similar lawsuit of infringement of his religious rights while incarcerated. This case also signified the start of the end of the hands-off doctrine and the start of the prisoner rights movement. Now prisoners had the right to file grievances against those institutions and staff for violations of their rights, not just those Coopper filed his lawsuit under. Courts now had the authority and requirement to intervene in the treatment and supervision of inmates in correctional institutions.
Thank you for listening to our PowerPoint on the 1964 Coopper versus Pate case.